Welcome back. I'm Star Connor, and joining me this morning is my favorite, Jeffrey Mindock.
Good morning, Star. How are you?
Good. Let's talk about Plays in the Park.
Yes, Plays in the Park. So just this past week, we announced a collaboration with the DDA where we are going to be presenting even more plays out in the public for free all throughout the year. So this past summer, we did West Side Story in concert at the park with True North Radio Network. And from that, so many opportunities have started to present themselves, and a sincere interest in the work that we do out there for the public. So, Executive Director Ann Trentry, who works for the DDA, reached out to us and said, "What's it going to take for us to get Shakespeare out in public?" And I said, "Well, this is what it's going to take." And so we started brainstorming, as we are ought to do, and this is what happened. So we are going to be doing our first play of our Shakespeare project, which is going to be 5 Shakespeare plays over the next 5 years, and we are going to be doing Hamlet in the Cellar parking lot on Saturday, November 4th at 6 p.m. It's going to be a little bit cold, we imagine, so everybody should bring their blanket. There is a weather plan in case the weather goes bad. We are going to just have a free performance at the theater, which actually, is an interesting concept, but we're excited to do it out in the open, just like they do in all these bigger cities around the country. You've got Detroit Shakes, you've got, obviously, the plays in New York City, in Chicago, in Philadelphia, in everywhere. They're doing all of this free accessible theater, and in our community that's especially important because we know that not everybody can afford to come see every single play and see what we have to offer. So as an organization, we're really excited about the opportunity to give back to our community and show them what we're working with.
Well, speaking of community and giving back, how do you think this is going to help influence, it's going to influence people coming to the theater more?
Absolutely, and that is just one of the side byproducts of this process. For me, I grew up, an hour outside of Philadelphia, so I had as much access to the arts as I wanted. In this community, unfortunately, the arts have kind of, especially the theater, has kind of been pushed to the side. We don't have a lot of theater in the schools for the kids, especially at the high school. We don't even teach theater, at the high school, except for when they take it on an online class. I substitute teach in my free time, and a lot of the kids I talk to say, well, I was at the theater once back in 3rd grade, and I remember that very vividly, but they haven't been to the theater since.
Wow.
And that is like consistent across the board. So, I talk to kids at the high school that are saying, well, I'm reading Romeo and Juliet, but I hate it. And I go, why? And they go, because I don't understand it. And I said, well, that's because you're not having the opportunity to see it. There's so much of a difference, especially with Shakespeare, between seeing the play and hearing the play and reading the play. So, that has been one of our goals for the past 3 years, and with everything that we've been talking about, the educational tour, the plays in the park, getting more access to the performing arts and being able to see this. There's so many studies that show that an access to the arts is going to increase their testing scores, it's going to increase their self-confidence, it's going to increase their ability to communicate with one another and their teachers, and when they're starting to pursue college. The arts are so integral to creating a well-rounded individual, and I feel as though, it is our job as Thunder Bay Theater to make that available and accessible in any way possible.
Well, making it available, you guys have another play this weekend.
We do. It is our last weekend of Songs for a New World, and it's a small, unfamiliar musical, but the music is beautiful, and you don't want to miss it. We've got 3 more shows: Thursday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. It's one of those shows that has a really strong message, and you can get tickets by calling 989-354-2267, and it's not one that you want to miss.
Well, I'm glad there's a lot of great things going on with the theater, and like always, it's always good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right, we're going to turn it now to meteorologist Ulysses Garcia.